feel bad for you.
I don't think about you at all.
HBO's final season of Succession just wrapped, so now that we know the ultimate fate of Waystar Royko, I wanted to make a quick video. There's something I've always noticed about Succession from as far back as season 1, and that is the way in which series creator Jesse Armstrong uses and plays with his characters' heights. I've seen it briefly mentioned that the show can be described as a war between tall people and short people, but this imagery is heavily embedded into the series. It's no coincidence that the Roy family is mostly short, and that a lot of characters that they interact with, such as Greg, are exceptionally tall. But what if I told you that this is 100% manufactured by the show's creators? First, let's talk about height. Height has a lot of symbolism in literature. In a spiritual sense, it's aligned with goodness and with truth. Height had this signification because all good and the derivative truth proceed from the Lord, and the Lord is the highest. Therefore, those who were tallest in biblical times were considered closest to God. They had divine qualities. And even in other examples, being tall is usually associated with power or dominance. Antithetically, a shorter person in literature more often relates to humility, but shortness can also be used to depict a character's powerlessness or inferiority.
Oh, I'm feeling real confident now, Art.
Your physical appearance has left you no reason to ever feel confident.
Armstrong and the production teams of Succession deploy the heights of their cast to tell a story across all 4 seasons. To start off, every Roy family member is shorter than his or her significant other, and this is continually made painstakingly apparent. Rava is taller than Kendall, Tom is taller than Shiv, Marcia is taller than Logan, all of Roman's girlfriends or dates are taller than him, and perhaps most surprisingly, in nearly all occasions, Connor is shot to look shorter than Willa, even though actor Alan Ruck is 6 feet tall and Justine Luke is only 5'6". And that's just the tip of the spear. Other actors are portrayed shorter than they really are too. Jeremy Strong is listed at 5'10", while Rava actress Natalie Gold is nearly 4 inches shorter than him. All signs point to Brian Cox being 5'9", while Hiam Abbas is only 5'5". Now, why would the director choose to intentionally depict a male actor to be shorter than his female counterpart, when in most cases, male actors are portrayed as taller than their female romantic interests? Well, I think Succession uses height in a couple different ways. Early on, the directors use height to symbolize a little more moral fortitude, a little more empathy, and a little more respect for others. And I'll use Connor to demonstrate this. For one, Connor is the only member of the Roy family to abstain, for the most part, from the family power struggle. He is depicted as a bit dim-witted, but never as cruel, and he does not express the same levels of resentment toward his family that Kendall, Shiv, Roman, and Logan all do. And guess what else? Connor is also the tallest. The taller characters are ordinarily the ones we feel more sympathy toward. We want them to succeed. They are generally kinder and mistreated by the Roys throughout the show. So I already pointed out that despite the real heights of the respective actors, Connor is shown to be shorter than his love interest Willa. But during Shiv's wedding in season 1, the family specifically tells Connor that Willa may not be in the family photos because she is, a woman of the night.
One of the things I like doing most is banging whores. I go out and bang a lot of whores.
Connor then objects and tells his family that she will be in the photo whether they like it or not, and for the first time in the series, Connor is shot to appear taller than Willa. In atypical Roy fashion, he showed kindness and compassion for somebody else.
You want to suck my dick?
Greg is another great example of the game Succession plays using height. With his 6'7" frame, Greg stands out immensely, perfectly portraying him as the black sheep character of the series. Early on in Succession, there is a ton of fun to be had with this. The wardrobe unit put him in ill-fitting clothes, and the cinematographers consistently squeezed him into tight spaces, all to accentuate how freakishly tall Nicholas Braun is. But Greg's height almost seems to dissipate as the show continues. As the story progresses, there are far less gags about how big everyone's favorite cousin is. He hunches over more often. He's positioned better into the frame of each shot. He wears better fitting clothes. And all of this correlates with his slip into the dark side of the family.
I have some beef with Greenpeace.
For 3 seasons, we watched Cousin Greg become more and more entrenched in the seediest parts of the Empire, all culminating in a shot where he holds himself low to the ground and asks,
What am I gonna do with a soul anyways?
It's also worth noting that Greg's grandfather, Ewan Roy, is the moral and political opposite of Logan, and he is much taller than his brother.
Fuck your grandpa.
Yeah, okay, you're on speakerphone, Tom.
Jesse Armstrong also uses height to demonstrate the power dynamics in different relationships in Succession, and oftentimes tall stature represents a threat to the Roy family. For nearly the entire series, the Roys' backs are against the wall as the problems mount for Waystar Royco. And if that were not enough, amidst all the chaos, the Roy family encounter numerous threats to their hold on the company. In each episode, the directors ensure that we can look at height to determine who holds the upper hand in the negotiation. For example, when Josh Aronson, played by actor Adrian Brody, takes a meeting with Kendall and Logan in Season 3, the entire interaction is shot to make Brody look exceptionally taller, even though the actor is only an inch or two taller than Cox and Strong. It's no coincidence that Brody's character owns a significant number of shares of Waystar Royco and has exceptional leverage over the Roys.
Fascists are kind of cool.
Come Season 3, the Roys first encounter their most lasting threat. None other than 6'4" Lucas Mattsson, played by Alexander Skarsgård. The Swedish tech billionaire is significantly taller than all non-Greg actors on the show, but when we first meet him, he's often shown sitting down. He shrugs his shoulders. I even read that Mark Mylod, director of Chianti Land, used Peter Jackson's famous Hobbit shooting techniques to make Roman appear more evenly sized next to Skarsgård. Keep in mind, these early interactions take place while Logan and Roman believe they can acquire his company and not vice versa. But by Season 4, Mattson's intimidating height is highlighted, and he is frequently shown towering over the Roys, all while he makes his play to acquire their company. Mattsson is a force to be reckoned with, and I like the way in which the showrunners use his height to convey that message. Lastly, and I think largely, Armstrong uses height to show the audience how literally small the Roy family members are, both inside and out. It's a pretty creative choice by him because while the show is loosely based on the Murdoch family, I believe they are all fairly average in stature. Either way, it's a nice touch that I appreciate about the making of the show. Oh, and it's worth mentioning that all of this is meticulous and onerous work. I already mentioned how most of these short-looking actors are not really that short, and some of the taller characters are not really that tall. Succession's production team had to put cast members in heels, they had to pull out camera tricks like having one actor positioned closer to the camera than the other. They also had to cut out the bottom half of several actors in different shots. It's really no small feat to tell this story with this kind of imagery.
You trying to seduce me, Tom?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am, Greg.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to bring up about Succession today, but I would love to hear if anyone else noticed this while watching, or if anyone could think of other scenes drawing attention to the heights of characters. Next time you watch the show, try and keep an eye out for it, and let me know in the comments if you see anything cool. And as always, thanks for watching.